in Wall Street Values, we try to answer the question, what went wrong in the financial crisis? Specifically, what went wrong from an ethical point of view. Wall Street's interests no longer coincided with the interests of society in general, and we wanted to understand why did that happen. There were, of course, a number of factors. The government deregulation, I think, is a well-known story and was a very big factor. It allowed so much of the markets in very exotic securities instruments to go undetected, and it allowed an enormous amount of risk to build up in the system without the government regulators really understanding what the potential consequences could be. But on a more fundamental level on Wall Street, what we saw over a period of 2 to 3 decades was a gradual transformation of the Wall Street business model from one in which it was making profits by serving customers. The financial crisis itself consisted of a freezing of credit. That was the crisis, was that because all of a sudden people realized that the housing market was not as valuable as we thought that it was. The financial crisis occurred when that realization came. When that realization came, then all of these assets had to be written down, and that in turn froze the economy because no one wanted to lend to anyone anymore. But in addition to the crisis, we immediately suffered a recession. And the reason we suffered that recession was, first of all, because of just the jarring effect of the freezing of credit through all levels of the economy in such a dramatic way, but also for a period of years when Wall Street had been pushing these exotic mortgage-backed securities and buying them for their own account and encouraging clients to buy them. So much capital was flowing into the housing sector that companies were starved for cash. So the reason our economy is not as strong today as it could have been is because of companies that don't exist, that we don't even know what they would have been. There are all of these ideas out there that entrepreneurs, technical innovators had that were unfunded because of Wall Street's obsession with mortgage-backed securities, explains kind of why our economy is still lagging today. We believe that if people are want to understand what happened during the financial crisis and get beyond simply calling Wall Street greedy and really take a more serious look at the questions of ethics that came up in the financial crisis, this book we hope will give people a really good understanding of that. Wall Street tends to take a very simplistic view of their ethics. They tend to rely on concepts that they learned in Economics 101. And one of the things we do in the book is sort of try to point out, hey, even by that standard, even by using the Milton Friedman standard of free markets, you failed to meet even that minimal economic standard. So we try to make the case that Wall Street needs to think in different ways and think more about ethics and values. Ultimately, the most important incentive that Wall Street has to tend to its values and ethics is that it drinks from the same water that we do. And in order for Wall Street to prosper, the rest of society needs to prosper as well. And I think for a long time, people on Wall Street understood this, and then they lost sight of it. And so I think, we really are speaking to a future generation of Wall Street leaders, with vision to understand that Wall Street needs to reinvent itself and to bring its values into greater alignment with the needs of society, because ultimately our prosperity and their prosperity are intertwined.